The underlying current behind this memoir or my life story is to share based on truth, nothing but the truth, with no exaggeration at any stage, uh, but encourage other Indians in particular, those who are settled in the USA, to think of their motherland and do something. And they should go beyond helping their immediate family and friends. Because virtually, I'm sure all Indians, as we also did, helped our immediate siblings or their children as and when needed and so on. But we need to go beyond because Bharat is our Matrabhumi, Janbhumi, Punyabhumi, and it is a nation or civilization which has contributed enormously to the well-being of humanity over millennia, thousands of years. But in a very tiny little bit way, which perhaps minute within nano part of what uh, Bharatiya Sabhyata Sanskriti is. If I could share my life story and help in drawing attention of some of the readers, and they in turn think of their motherland and come forward and do for the society at large, then I would say my dream is fulfilled, mission is accomplished.
For the last several decades, you have been tirelessly working for upliftment of people in India in the rural areas, poverty, education. How do you see the main challenges India has right
Actually, our journey started with my joining the World Bank, and because that enabled us, both of us, to visit India every 2 years, what is called home leave. And we visited, but we were not confining our visit to our immediate family and friends. We went beyond. For example, while I am talking to you, it is even though I am visually impaired, but it is in front of my eyes when both of us, Sarla and I, were in Bihar, uh, and we saw a, a patient was carried on a charpai. So four persons were carrying, and we asked what was the matter, and they said that this is there to uh, take this person to hospital because there was no ambulance. So that gave us the idea that there is so much need for providing ambulance or medical vans and so on. That is, by now we have financed more than 40, 40 to
More
45,
than that.
maybe even 50 medical vans or medical ambulances. So, in other words, our journey when we visit, it has given us ideas, and fortunately, we have been every time we are visiting the what is we call NGOs, non-government organizations, because um, partly with my background of RSS to start with, but over time we have broadened the scope of our partner NGOs. The other old time story, once again, both of us were, and that also is in Bihar, uh, Darbhanga, Hazaribagh, Hazaribagh district. We had visited Hazaribagh, we visited the So at that time, we visited some we helped the children there through the NGO, but Birsa Seva Prakalp, which is a NGO in Hazaribagh, and we financed as an offshoot of the what I mentioned a few minutes ago, a medical van. That medical van was going to villages which were not infested by Naxalites or Maoists because they had a great danger or risk of their life if they visit the Maoist or Naxalites infested villages. So when our medical van was served for a couple of months, after that, ladies, credit goes to ladies, ladies of nearby villages which were infested by Naxalites and Maoists came to our office, which is Hazaribagh Birsa Seva Prakalp's office, and with the folded hands, they in their local language, I can't use Bihari slang, but basically कि हमें भी दवा दारू के की बहुत ज़रूरत पड़ती है, आप अपने डॉक्टर साहब को हमारे यहाँ भी भेजिए। तो उनको फिर फोल्डेड हैंड से कहा, बहन जी हम चाहते हैं मगर कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि हमारी जो टीम है 3 लोगों की, डॉक्टर, कंपाउंडर एंड ड्राइवर, उनकी लाइफ का खतरा है। बेचारी निराश होकर लौट गई। फिर 2-3 महीना बाद, 2-2.5 महीने बाद वो फिर वो आई, नक्सलाइट्स को लेकर आई और वो दे ब्रॉट विथ पिन कि हम आपको अपने खून से साइन कर हस्ताक्षर करके देंगे कि आपको कुछ नहीं होगा, आप तो हमारी भलाई के लिए आ रहे हैं। So that we started them, serving them, and same Naxalites came in another 2 months कि हम आपके volunteer होना चाहते हैं. This is 100% truthful story on ground level, how through social service we could overcome this the evil of another very interesting story is perhaps you may not heard that there was a time when Indian intellectuals who had come to USA or England, they had no job. World renowned famous is Varghese Kurian. There was a time there were no jobs. So government had started very interesting scheme that those who are such brilliant and those who wish to return to uh, Bharat, their shipment by all baggage will be taken over by taken care by the government, and their air flight will be given by the government, and please hold your breath, 750 rupees per month stipend will be given to them. So in this case, Sarla's brother Dharam Bhaiya, who did her MRCP from England, he returned to Ranchi. And in the IDRF context, what Sarla implied, Rakesh Popley, who did his master's from Indiana, he returned to IIT Kanpur, which was most prestigious, and then to IIT Delhi. But his idea was to give back to India. And in that context, at that time, 5 young men, including Ashok Bhagat, we are still in touch with him. And but Rakesh Popley, of course, he left this planet, and I'm not in touch, but someone is called my क्या नाम, he is Rajya Sabha member. But anyway, these 5 young men wanted to develop technology appropriate for transformation of rural India, and that under the auspices of NGO's name Vikas Bharti. So Vikas Bharti, Gumla district Bishanpur, now Jharkhand. At that time it was Bihar. We started with this very simple thing because there was no place somebody could stay. So we started with a guest house. That guest house became so popular that अशोक जी आसफी विनोद जी, अब तो हमारे सब गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर जो हैं वो कहते हैं जी कि हम आपके गेस्ट हाउस में ठहरना चाहते हैं, कि ठीक है, it is serving the community, that is fine. So that went very well. Then Bharat Sarkar had a scheme called Krishi Vigyan Kendra, so which was managed by the government officers and all that. But Ashok ji's and his team was very helpful in upgrading the productivity quality of Krishi Vigyan Kendra, but some funding from IDRF besides government funding. Then we started education of children. There was a time when this is pre-Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. But so for some years we financed the education of children, but that we stopped because government had started a scheme of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, that is universal education. So then we moved to a variety of different items, products, but we ended, or I would say, Vikas Bharti was graduated from RDRF funding. That is a paddy. That is we held them in a, you see, paddy requires this rice seed production. That is 10%. If you have grown 100 pounds, so 10 pounds is to be saved for seed, that kind of thing. So we succeeded in increasing the quality of paddy, double this, so that only half was used for seed next year's implantation, and it was so successful, it started cooperatives and eventually cooperative federation. And Ashok ji said, Vinod ji, बहुत बहुत आपको धन्यवाद और प्रणाम, अब हमें फंड्स आपसे नहीं चाहिए, we are sir. And of course more recently they are receiving under CSR. In those days there was no CSR, but in recent years there is CSR.